What's going on, everybody? It is corner to corner time right here Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live from the glass enclosed nerve center of Corner to Corner. What's going on? I hope everybody's had a great week. We got a lot to talk about, and oh my goodness, we got tons of stuff to cover. First and foremost, bit of a downer. I'm sad to announce that we did receive confirmation today. The passing of a true legend of professional wrestling, one Bobby the Brain Heenan. Now, Bobby Heenan stood the test of time. He started off as a professional wrestler, moved into management, and then became a broadcast journalist, which he really set the broadcast booth on fire, in my opinion. Later moved to WCW as a broadcaster, but when you look at the path that Bobby Heenan went through, all the points that he worked, whether it was AWA, WWF, WCW, he made sure that the talent he represented as a manager was first and forefront in front of him. He made sure that he made them look good, and he was entertaining. He was funny. He knew how to get the crowd involved in both an emotional sense, but also from a comedic performance. How many times can you remember hearing about Bobby Heenan in the Weasel suit and his infamous feuds against Hulk Hogan with the Heenan family, his feud with the Big Boss Man, where he made fun of the Boss Man's mother.
Dog suit.
Right, the dog suit. What about, how about the way he represented Ric Flair? When Flair came into the WWF. Now, for me, I grew up with WWF from about age 8 moving forward.
That was your problem, but,
nobody's perfect. I'm sorry. Maybe one day I'll be as cool as the great and powerful Oz known as Rob Stradamus.
No, you won't.
All right, well, perhaps.
Well, yes, Bobby Heenan will be missed. I know he had some health issues, and he was just a consummate professional and mastermind. He redefined what a manager was.
Yeah,
I think. And like you talked to Jim Cornette, and Jim Cornette is always looked upon as one of the best managers of all time, one of the greatest managers of all time.
Right.
And he'll be quick to tell you that he's honored to be in the category, but Bobby Heenan is the best.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, when they think of managers, good quality managers in the professional wrestling business, it's Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman, and everyone else. Maybe Jim Cornette, Gary Hart, Elizabeth, Woman. I'm just trying to think of managers that stand out, that kind of jump out. Brian, your memories of Bobby Heenan?
He did what it took for his client to win. As a manager, that's what you're supposed to do. You put yourself in harm's way just to make sure that paycheck comes to the right place, and that's what he did. Him and Gorilla, were great on the announce table. I think in order to stay in the business as long as he did, you had to know the business. You had to eat, sleep the business, and that's what he did.
It's hard to really quantify the impact that Bobby Heenan has on the wrestling world. When you look at it from a fan perspective, it's what did he remind you of? How did he draw you in? Was it comedy? The Weasel suit, the chance of Weasel. His apology to the Boss Man's mother stands out to me because that's what led into WrestleMania 7. And we're watching the Boss Man and Mr. Perfect in what many consider Ray Traylor's best match as far as being able to wrestle at a very, very high level. There's his broadcasting where Bobby Heenan was able to take a good guy and make you cheer for him just because he was making fun of him. And it was always cheap shots and small, silly puns that were, even by today's standards, would be maybe campy or corny, but it didn't matter because it made you cheer for the guy just because Bobby was making fun of him. And then, of course, when Flair comes in, he comes in and who does Bobby Heenan, or what does he refer to him as, but the real world's champion? And all of a sudden we're hearing conversation about how Flair, for the WWF fan, is the guy that should overshadow Hulk Hogan. And Bobby Heenan's instrumental in making people realize that Ric Flair, on the northern part, when it comes to wrestling as a whole, the northern part of the country, he's the one that introduces people to him that way. It's not Vince McMahon. It's not Gorilla Monsoon. I mean, Roddy Piper really played a good role in helping Ric Flair get over as the main man in WWF at the time. But if Bobby Heenan doesn't do that, if he doesn't call him the real world champion, if he doesn't present him in that fashion, we don't get Ric Flair the way he came in. At least I don't think we do. I think, unfortunately, what would have happened had Heenan not been involved, Flair would have suffered the same fate that many talents did when they came from NWA/WCW and made the move up. Flair, of course, is, he's a legend, so I think he would have ultimately still been champion and still been successful, but I don't think he would have been half as successful as he was because of Heenan's involvement. Go to WCW, where Heenan makes fans aware of, honestly, he's the first guy that ever questioned Hulk Hogan. Can you trust Hulk Hogan? Was how he treated him. And when Bash at the Beach happens and Hogan's coming to the ring to make, quote-unquote, the save for WCW, it's Heenan that says, but whose side is he on? And it's amazing because, 5-6 minutes later, if that, Hogan's dropping the leg on Randy Savage, and we see the birth of the NWO. And that's all of those things, all of those different parts happen, and fans' reaction come from a guy like Bobby Heenan. And I know for me, even though he did his job, and I hated Bobby Heenan on television, I always recognized him as one of the best managers and commentators in the business. So we here at Corner to Corner, I'm certain the Beyond Ringside Radio Network as well, we send our condolences to his friends and family, and we're definitely sad to hear about his passing. But that's the unfortunate news. Let's move on to all of the things that we've got to talk about and the exciting news. Let's start off with the news that we get to finally break. Breaking news. Does anybody have a sound effect? Anyone?
No, don't give it to him.
What?
Not yet.
We can't?
No, not yet.
Fans,
This
I am
is like
trying.
putting Andre and Hogan first.
Wait. Andre and Hogan first?
Yeah, you just can't do it.
Did that
You got to
ever
let it
happen?
build up.
Can we break part of it?
We do have some pretty exciting news.
Not the big
Big
news,
but
but
we've-
just the news.
We have big news, and then we have bigger news.
Let's. I say we run down the card.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll cover Rob's news,
Okay.
and then at the end, we'll break
See, Brian's thinking.
Yeah.
He's the thinking man's
the thinking, man. Yeah.
internet radio guy.
And there went the show.
Da, 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 da. Oh, wait, there's a cease and desist. Got to stop that song.
All right.
Sorry.
Get
All
on
right.
with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, September 23rd. That's this coming Saturday. Wow.
This Saturday.
Can you believe it? We're less than a week away. UCW, Ultimate Championship Wrestling Defiance.
Second show.
This is their second ever show, but their first television taping. This is going to be an exciting event, to say the least. We get to see the crowning of their first ever World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep. And we had the pleasure of interviewing one of the combatants in that match, Juggernaut, last week.
Right, and you can catch that interview right now on Spreaker.com. Just check out our on-demand listens. You've got the interview with television champion, UCW TV champion Ethan Cross. He's going to be defending his title. So let's go ahead and break down the card overall. We'll start from the undercard. Ron Holiday taking on Joe King, just announced this past week. It's going to be an exciting matchup. I look forward to seeing how this one unfolds. Guys, I think on paper, Ron Holiday and Joe King could actually be a sleeper.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Joe King last time in Orange. We saw Ron Holiday. And I think today I go with Every Day's a Holiday.
Wow. Rob Stradamus starting us off, predicting Ron Holiday.
I'm just going to say that King is going to lose his crown. That's all I can say.
Woo. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, since Rob started it, Brian.
Well, now I will hold mine off for a bit.
For a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Ron Holiday. Ron Holiday took on Tremor at the first event back after 15 years. And unfortunately was not successful. Came away with the loss as Tremor dropped him with a pretty decisive, what was that, a choke slam, I believe.
And that's why I think that Joe King's got his work cut out for him, because Holiday's coming in with a passion. Holiday's coming in with something to prove. You know, he wants to prove it that he can, you know, that he is the man. He's in line for that television title. That's what, you know, and so he's gonna bring it.
Well, I think he's got something to prove, but I think Joe King does also. You know, he took on Sickened, did not come out on the winning end of that matchup, and he needs a victory just as bad, especially if these guys want to get noticed for a television or world championship title shot down the road. But Rob's pretty strong in his belief that Ron Holiday is going to be the victor. I'm wondering if maybe he's got an insight. Have you been talking to Devois? Did he tell you something we don't know?
Here's the thing. I don't develop my sources. Like, my sources are my sources, so don't be coming asking me to divulge my sources and talk about this stuff.
Divulge
my sources.
Just answer the question.
I've answered the question. I picked Holiday.
You picked Holiday. So his answer is he thinks Holiday is going to win. Okay. Now, also, Tremor is going to be in action. Is there a problem?
Yeah.
Wow.
You got it, Mr. Mouth.
Yeah, but I think us two have an opportunity later to voice our opinions.
I mean, you know, possibly we may have an opportunity here to shed some light. I think I understand where Mr. Roberts headed.
All right.
Oh no, he doesn't understand yet. He hadn't pieced the puzzle together yet.
Don't shoot the messengers. It's okay.
He's getting mad. Rob Stradamus is getting mad.
Rob Stradamus don't give a crap.
See, there it is.
Rob Stradamus don't care. He's gonna have memes going on. Does Rob Stradamus have to choke a bitch? All right, let's go down the card a little bit further here. Tremor, returning to action for Ultimate Championship Wrestling, will be facing Pretty Boy Jake Hollister. Here's the thing. Tremor went through Ron Holiday and just wore him out. Jake Hollister, to me, seems relatively new. I did have a chance to catch his comments on Facebook. He's been putting a promo out there, as did Tremor. Man, I don't know. My gut just tells me that maybe Mr. Hollister's going to have a little bit more going on than he can handle. Rob Stradamus, what do you think? Wow, I guess he doesn't know what to say. He's speechless.
He's mad.
Why you got to do that?
He's mad.
Oh, don't do that. Come on, man.
Don't be mad, Twan.
Please, Rob.
Well, I mean, you can't bet against Tremor. I mean, that'd be stupid.
I mean, he did, when he came to us after his matchup, he did kill the mic. So, I mean, he's a little intimidating.
He did make you pee a little, too, so.
I'm not confirming or denying that. I can tell you I had to do laundry the next day. That's all I can tell you. So, next up we have Cheap Thrills versus the Hounds of Hades. Now, here's the trick on this matchup. The winner of Hounds of Hades versus Cheap Thrills gets a World Tag Team title shot that very night, taking on Noise Pollution. Now, guys, Noise Pollution, UCW Tag Champions, we interviewed them, and we interviewed Humphrey DuPont. Now, I mentioned that for a reason. Humphrey DuPont was on the show first with us, and he didn't necessarily say that he wanted to manage Noise Pollution, but he didn't say he doesn't want to manage Noise Pollution. And conveniently enough, in the midst of all of the build-up for Defiance, Outlaw Inc., who was supposed to receive a rematch against Noise Pollution, dropped. Somehow attacked, injured, no longer able to perform at Ultimate Championship Wrestling Defiance. So now, Noise Pollution is without a rematch, and they get the advantage of taking on a tag team that gets to wrestle in what should be a hard-fought contest, and they get the upper hand because they'll be fully rested. Gotta say, it seems a little fishy to me. I don't know, man.
I mean, it's gonna be a slobber knocker, as they say. Cheap Thrills versus Hounds of Hades. Neither team's gonna go down easily.
Now,
So whoever wins that is definitely at a disadvantage when it comes to having to turn around and then fight Noise Pollution.
and of course, one of the standout competitors in that number one contender tag match is Matt Sex Sells. He's actually a member of the Ring of Honor roster as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Okay, we got a three-way dance. MV Young, Mr. Grimm, and Sickened in a three-way dance. Now, we saw Sickened, and we saw Mr. Grimm, saw them at UCW in Skydive Orange. Don't know a whole lot about MV Young, though. So this could be an interesting matchup.
I don't think you're going to know much about him after the match either, but that's just me.
You know, I'm inclined to agree. Because between Grimm and the very talented Sickened, I'm not sure there'll be much left of MV Young. But maybe he surprises us. Maybe he shows up and just wows us and blows the roof off. Now, next. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying that.
Okay. Are you sure? Okay, cool. I didn't want to cut you off. So the next matchup, UCW Television Championship. Hiro
Morimoto.
Thank you. Miramoto. I mispronounced his name.
And you still mispronounced it.
I did? Again? He just told me.
Isn't it Morimoto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is this possible?
And you're like, Miramoto. Like, he just told you. Brian just said it. And you're like, Miramoto.
But you never know. I could be wrong and Stan's right.
I mean,
I think it's Morimoto, though.
But how often has Stan been right?
Whoa.
Well, that's why he's there and we're here.
Damn it.
He just wishes he was here.
But, wait, no, I am here.
No, you're not here. You're there.
What, how could I not be
All right,
here?
all right,
I'm sitting
all
in
right,
the same
all right.
room.
You're
with
getting
all-
off topic,
Every
Stan.
time.
This is,
Your ego's getting away in the show.
I am here. Jerks. Anyway, Ethan Cross defending the television championship against Hiro Morimoto. We'll try it that way. Ethan Cross had a tremendous showing against Mr. Grimm at Skydive Orange. We had an opportunity to interview him, and the advantage he brings to the table now is that Humphrey J. DuPont IV will be in attendance, will be in his corner for this TV title defense. Rob, I get the feeling you feel that that's going to really make the difference.
Oh, I mean, you saw Ethan Cross and Mr. Grimm.
Right.
And, I mean, Ethan Cross stayed toe-to-toe with Mr. Grimm and then came out on top without the help of Humphrey DuPont. So imagine what's going to happen when he has the services of Mr. DuPont in his corner.
Longest manager name in wrestling history right there. Takes 30 seconds just to get the name out.
Humphrey DuPont.
But, maybe he's earned it. Who knows?
Hey, listen, all I know is you may not want to make fun of him because we have discussed a certain business
No.
proposition.
Let's call it what it is. You guys have discussed a bounty. You have, in a very unsavory fashion, in an unsafe fashion, for me anyway,
It's not
set
unsafe.
a bounty. How could you set a bounty on your co-host, on your brother? Why would you do this to me?
Because
Were you ever really a part of the family?
Wow.
or were you just the little tag along?
Damn.
Were you the red shirt on the away mission?
I mean, I'm not wearing a red shirt. No. No. Jerks.
All right, run the card.
I'm trying. You guys are...
And then that brings us to the tag team match.
Thank
Right.
you, Rob. Thank you.
Noise Pollution versus the winner of Cheap Thrills and Hounds of Hades.
I still think that there's something else going on behind the scenes here. Something just isn't right. Magically, Humphrey DuPont is interested in Noise Pollution, and then all of a sudden...
Hey, you're not paid to think. You're not paid
Wow.
to think.
You're paid to speak.
That's it.
But I'm speaking...
Speak,
That's it.
monkey.
Hey, Mr. DuPont.
Speak, puppet, dance.
Mr. DuPont would like for you to just go on with what you're doing
Oh, are
and
you
give
the
out
official
the rest.
spokesman
Give
for Humphrey
out the
DuPont?
rest of the matches.
All right, so UCW Tag Team Champions, Noise Pollution, Mad Max Morrison,
There you go.
and Rock Richards defending against the winner of Cheap Thrills
Did you get a text?
Hounds of Hades. This should be an interesting matchup. I got to say, though...
DeVore would like you to stay on topic.
Yes, sir, Mr. DeVore. I apologize. Moving to our main event of the evening. UCW World Heavyweight Championship. Now, we talked to one half of the main event just last week, Juggernaut. He will be taking on Bill Collier. Now, Bill Collier, known very well in the MCW ranks from the Hired Guns, or Guns for Hire, excuse me. We've got an opportunity on this main event. I wonder how it's going to play out. Will it be Bill Collier making a stand as a singles performer and becoming World Heavyweight Champion? Or will it be the young and upcoming Juggernaut stepping in, representing not just the Tidewater area, but also his country as he goes in to potentially win the World Heavyweight Championship? Man, this is going to be exciting. I've seen promos from Juggernaut. I've seen the confidence, heard the confidence in his voice when we talked to him last week. Now, here's the funny thing. I haven't seen anything from Bill Collier. Haven't heard anything from Bill Collier. But his resume speaks for itself. He's a dominant presence in the ring. This, honestly, could be too close to call. I'm really not sure how this one will go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a great match because it's going to be the first ever UCW World Heavyweight Champion. You know, first in this
Incarnation
era of UCW. I think it's going to be a hard-fought victory. It's going to be a hard-fought match. It's going to be a close one. I just have this feeling that Juggernaut. Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I like that. I like that pick. I'm hopeful for him because he was just such an upstanding guy when we spoke to him. Brian, you've seen footage of Juggernaut in the ring. You know that this man is not to be trifled with.
No, he's a quite a stout fella that hits hard, and just like the namesake, once he gets moving, it's kind of hard to stop him. So even though Collier may have the experience, it's not going to be a pushover.
So we have an exciting opportunity here for our listeners on the East Coast, on the West Coast, wherever you may be. If you have an opportunity to take a trip and to get yourself ready for Ultimate Championship Wrestling Defiance, we're here to help. We at Corner to Corner have been given an opportunity to provide you, Rob, your a news breaking kind of guy.
I think it's Brian.
Brian? Mm-hmm. So we're going to give Brian the opportunity.
This is Brian's Band-Aid to rip off.
No, I don't have no parts in it. I know, but I don't know what y'all are looking for. So this is y'all's Band-Aid to rip off.
Wow.
Because you're talking about tickets, right? Did I?
What?
Well, go ahead and finish it.
No, I don't know anything more than that.
Are you talking about the ticket opportunity for our listening audience?
Yes,
Well,
I
there
think
you
that's
have
what we're alluding to. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an opportunity for you, our wrestling fans, our audience. We love it, and we're here to tell you about it. UCW Defiance, September 23rd, and you can go to the show. We've put out tweets, Facebook posts, mentions on Instagram. We have been active all week, and all week long we will continue to be so. Send us what you are looking forward to the most for UCW Defiance based off what we described or what you've seen. Or if you've maybe just got some questions or commentary towards UCW and what they're going to be doing, you can go see them live, in person, and for free. That's the magic number, ladies and gentlemen. It's free. We've got 5 pairs of tickets. So that's 10 total. You and a guest of your choice can have an opportunity to go see UCW live. So, of course, we've got it open on Facebook. We have our chat room open. You could actually be the first opportunity, the first chance to win right here tonight while we're live on the air. Go to Spreaker.com/user/corner to corner and join the chat room. You can actually send your thoughts there. We have that live. We'll read it live on the air and announce the winner. Of course, through Twitter and Facebook as well. And just a moment here, I'll be posting a quick reminder so that you have an opportunity through the Facebook page and through Twitter. But guys, pretty cool opportunity, pretty good chance for our listening audience to go to UCW.
I mean, it's not only the first UCW show at the Michael and Sons Sportsplex,
Right.
but it's the first time ever that we're giving something away on Corner to Corner.
That's right.
I mean, it is an opportunity to not only make history with UCW, but make history with Corner to Corner. So if you are within the sound of my voice,
which is all over the world,
and you want to go to UCW September 23rd live, be there to see Juggernaut's hand raised, see whatever things that Stan is alleging that's going on with Humphrey DuPont.
Oh, it's not a.
Will somebody cash in on the bounty on Stan's head?
What? What the hell?
Oh, but you never know.
Don't
so
give me any
you've
ideas.
got to be there with UCW Defiance. See Ethan Cross defend the television title first time on television live, and you can be there once in a lifetime.
It's a good opportunity for any wrestling fan in the Virginia area, Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina. If you're close, Delaware, absolutely. Pennsylvania, South Carolina.
No, South Carolina, a little too far.
That's a little too far.
Okay, so to all of our listeners in South Carolina,
Ohio.
If you want to come and make the trip, we will hook you up.
Hey, and I mean, you're witnessing a first. UCW has been gone for just over 15 years. They came back as of August 18th, had a hell of a show at Skydive Orange. Now, another first, their first TV taping. You can be a part of history. You can actually witness live the crowning of the UCW World Champion. The potential tag team championship change, maybe even a TV title change. You get to be there on the ground floor. Right at the beginning, you're part of history. UCW Defiance, taping live September 23rd at the Michael and Sons Sportsplex in Sterling, Virginia. Bell time is at, let me just double check that. It is at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Tickets will be available and are available through eventbrite.com. But if you win as part of our giveaway, we will see to it that tickets are made available and reserved for you. If if at all possible, we'll make sure that they're at the will call window at the very least. And if we can, we'll get them sent over to you. Most likely at the will call, though, because we are so close to the event. Again, you would just go to the box office, give your name, and we'd make sure you could pick them up. So, guys, let's go ahead as we put some feelers out there and give some of our listening audience an opportunity. Is there a point of Defiance that you're looking forward to the most? Whether it's the world title match, the tag championship, Sickened in the three-way versus MV Young and Mr. Grimm. Brian, let's start with you. What are you looking forward to at Defiance?
The whole card. It's wrestling. It's Virginia wrestling.
That's right.
So I'm looking forward to everything. So they all have potential to be great. I'm sure they'll be great. And yeah, hey, Rob. All right. That's what I'm looking forward to. The show itself.
Rob, how about you, buddy? What are you looking forward to for Defiance? TV championship, world championship, maybe the three-way, Joe King? What is it?
I'm looking forward to seeing you eat your words.
Wow.
About the malfeasance that's going on with Humphrey DuPont. That when you find out that it's just good old wrestling, that what are you going to say then?
I mean, I personally think
when Ethan crossed hands raised again.
Okay.
So what you're telling me, are you pulling against
oh my God,
again?
Here it comes.
The TV champion? So
I mean, look, he's got a challenge in Hiro Morimoto.
He said it right.
It could go either way. I mean,
listen, I think what Rob's trying to say is we've already established that you're towing the company line, so to speak.
Wow. So I'm a company guy now. That's what that is.
I don't know what company, but yeah.
Okay, because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Apparently, I'm a shill. I'm a corporate shill now, huh?
No, I don't know if I'd call it corporate, but
oh, okay, good.
You're towing the company line. I do believe, yes.
Man, I mean, you guys are brutal. I'm trying to get pumped up. I am pumped up for UCW Defiance.
Who's not pumped? No one's saying we're not pumped.
And I'm asking you what you're looking forward to, and you want to see me get.
You're getting all hashtag butthurt.
Wow. Damn, that just got said. I don't know what to say right now. I mean, that kind of hurt my feelings.
And hashtag. Oh, sorry.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. It's a little hurtful though, a little bit. All right, so we got the feelers out there. Put the information on Twitter and Facebook. Again, go to the chat room. Hit us up on Facebook. You can hit us up also on Instagram. Go to the chat room, whatever you prefer, even on Twitter.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll be announcing the names live. Because if you tell the names and then somebody else goes pick them up, you might have an issue.
Fair point. You know what?
Intelligence.
Our legal department has advised me that winners will be notified through either Facebook Messenger or email. I will seek you out as we get the entries in, and I'll either reach out to you through Facebook Messenger or I can contact you through your email. That's up to you as to how you want to be contacted. Just once you're notified, you can send us over a message. We'll get it done. That's the bottom line, is we'll get you notified and make sure that nobody gets to impersonate you at the ticket booth, because definitely we want you to get an opportunity to enjoy the show. So, wow, there you have it. An opportunity, 5 sets of tickets ready. Who's it going to be? Who's going to win the tickets and get to see UCW Defiance September 23rd? Showtime starting at 7 p.m. And it's a television taping. So you get to be there as part of history and be immortalized in digital media. So, exciting opportunity. And, as Brian said, this is Virginia wrestling, baby. You get to go see wrestling in a local area, enjoy it in an intimate setting, and, hey, you might even get a chance to meet the corner-to-corner guys. I mean, if you're into that sort of stuff.
Right there, you sold me.
Rob wants to meet us. I mean, he wants to meet. I mean, never mind. I'll just move on. Okay. Well, so be keeping my eye on the mentions there to see what comes up. Hey guys, when you saw wrestling this week, what jumped out right away as the most exciting thing that you could catch?
I don't understand what jumped out.
Was it Raw?
You tell us.
Was it Raw?
You tell us.
Was
what
it
jumped
SmackDown?
out for you?
For me?
For you.
The Mae Young Classic Finals.
There we go.
Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane in a tremendous matchup in the finals. Guys, leading into the finals, we talked about the breakdown of the brackets and who we thought was going to come away. Did the finals live up to your expectations?
I haven't watched it yet. Thanks for ruining it.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. I've spoiled it for you. Rob, are you also?
No, I'm just kidding.
So, what did you think of the finals, Brian? Did it live up to your expectations?
But you went to Rob.
Or I can go
Oh, wait.
Rob.
It's my turn.
I mean, are we here or there? I don't know what I'm doing.
That's your problem. You're
We're-
there, we're here.
Damn it.
Me and Rob know what we're doing. You,
Okay.
not so much.
Well, take it away, boys.
My turn. Adults, grown-ups are talking. Okay. Oh, that was a finger. You can't fly that thing. I thought it was short. A little too short for me, but it was, I guess, short, sweet, and to the point. I figured Kyrie was going to win because I think she was the only one that they had officially announced it signed. Mm-hmm. I just didn't see her losing. I thought she had a pretty good showing against a much bigger opponent. So I enjoyed the match. So it would have been nice if they told me going into it that they changed the crowning of the championship. But what do you expect? It's a WWE.
Rob, what about you, buddy? How'd you feel about the finals? Did it live up to your expectations? Did you feel satisfied with the winner?
I mean, it was nice. There's kind of like a lot of build-up. But the two in the finals is the two that I could have seen in the finals from the beginning. So I think what the WWE has now is just like they had with the Cruiserweight Classic. They've got a great resource and a great pool of talent to pull from that aren't your typical excuse me, WWE people. So, what would you think of it, Stan?
Yeah, as far as the finals were concerned, at the beginning, I honestly felt like Shayna Baszler was going to come away as the winner of the Mae Young Classic. Straight ahead, hard charging, hitting hard. The impact of what she was doing, really, to me, I thought she was going to get hurt. I thought Kairi Sane maybe on an injury or at least very close. But the biggest part of that stood out was how quickly Kairi Sane was able to rebound. And when she rebounded, she really did capitalize in a major way, hitting that huge elbow drop on the ribcage of Shayna Baszler and winning the Mae Young Classic. And as we would find out later in the week, Miss Kairi Sane is now entered into the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Championship at the next TakeOver in Houston. So we got a great opportunity to see Kairi Sane become Women's Champion, but she's going to have to get past 3 other very qualified combatants, one of which has already qualified through the tapings. That is Ember Moon. And I believe there's a third one, but I do not remember who it was. So, guys, is this the crowning for Kairi Sane right away? Or do they see her, maybe they see this actually spread out over time? Maybe it's Ember Moon's chance. What do you think, Rob?
I mean, You would think they'd put it on Ember Moon, as in, yes, Kairi Sane won the or someone like Ember Moon, I should say. But you saw where Kairi won. For those listening at home that haven't watched it, spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's been a week.
But look, Stan's favorite person's on TV.
Yeah, no.
I just think putting the title on Kairi Sane right now would not. I mean, you've got a talent of NXT women that you are trying to, I don't know what the word is. I've lost it. So I'm gonna shut up.
Brian, what do you think? Is this the crown? Is this the crowning of Kairi Sane, or does she have some road to go, and we see maybe Ember Moon finally getting her chance as champion?
Oh, it's the crowning.
You think so?
Yeah, especially since Asuka's gone. I think what she brings to the table is a little bit different than the rest of them. So I think she was brought in for a reason. They're going to hold on to her. They're going to put her in NXT for a while, get the fans familiar with her. And I don't think she'll do well chasing the title. I think she'll do better holding the title.
So that's a good question. Let's say Kairi Sane wins the title and holds on to it for, 4, maybe 6 months. If she, in fact, loses it, the first major defense, we'll say she defends against some of the lower tier that they have, which is hard to say now because their women's division is getting better each time. But she gets to her first major challenge, maybe like Liv Morgan or Ember Moon, whomever it might be. Once she has lost, is she the kind that can go back after it in a challenge situation? Would the crowd buy into it, or does she just move up to the main roster? And even then, you see yet another. I guess you see another chase.
I don't think she'll lose it anytime soon. I maybe her chasing Nikki. Nikki Cross might be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure her chasing Ember would do us any good. I'm not sure her chasing Ruby Riott would do us any good. So I think she gets it. She holds on to it. And then long about WrestleMania probably makes her her move to the main roster.
So what about what Kairi Sane's challenges are as a performer for WWE NXT? Already in the news, she's talked about concerns as far as her being able to communicate with the WWE universe. Her knowledge of the English language is a difficulty that she cites as far as communication and really being able to convey what she thinks.
Same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura.
And Asuka.
I mean, they worked with them and they got them. You just keep it where she doesn't speak a whole lot, or you put a mouthpiece with her for a little while until she gets the mic skills down,
mm-hmm.
and that's fine. I mean, I don't think her character would go over well if she just all of a sudden became the strong silent type.
Right.
Because she doesn't have that Asuka kind of vibe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she comes out with a pirate reel, you know?
Yeah.
So give her a parrot.
Give her a parrot.
The parrot in the form of a manager that's going to come out and talk for her.
That could be interesting.
You know? And so that's
Maybe.
what I think.
So the rumor right now is that Paul Ellering is, while he may not go up with Authors of Pain is suspected to be called up to the main roster soon. But Paul Ellering may not go with them.
Why are you going to call them up when you keep breaking up tag teams that you already have established?
Hey, don't look at me, man. I'm just the guy reporting the news.
I mean, you got established tag team. Let's break them
Right.
up, and let's just put together oh, look, here's two main guys that we can't throw a title on right now, so let's make them a tag team.
I mean, I agree. You call up a tag team as good as Authors of Pain, or if they were still together, Team DIY, and then you basically are setting them up almost for failure by breaking them up. But to me, I can't see either guy on Authors of Pain being, at least right now, successful as a single standout. So I have a hard time believing that they would break them up that quickly. What do you think?
I don't see them breaking up Arthur's of Pain, but when you have, why would you bring up Arthur of Pain when you have the Revival and you haven't done anything with them? You have the Club and you've done nothing with them. You've got the Hardys and you're doing nothing with them.
Right.
I mean, you've got tag teams there. Mm-hmm. Why bring it up? It's just like when they promote somebody from NXT to the main roster where you've got an inflated roster anyway.
Right.
So to me, I'm wondering sometimes, does the talent want to go, or is it just like we see on Breaking Ground, Triple H comes up and going, you're going to Raw, Bubba.
Yeah.
You know, do you have a choice? Because think about it. At this time and day, in this day and time, would you want to be at NXT and be a main eventer in the constant limelight for the title, mm-hmm. or go to Raw and be buried?
I mean, if I had to choose, I would probably want to be on NXT. But on NXT, there's not a guarantee that you would be on WrestleMania. And I think if I'm a wrestler, if I'm a performer, the main stage, the biggest stage that there is WrestleMania. Although, not to say that one is better than the other or vice versa. When you look at an event like Wrestle Kingdom, and that's, 90,000 plus in that arena, that could be considered just as big. But if we're just sticking to WWE, I would probably take the promotion up to the main roster if it had an opportunity for advancement. I mean, it would have to be, and I don't guess there's much negotiation to it. I mean, for what Tyler Breeze did, Triple H just walked up to him and said, "Hey, congratulations, you're going up to SmackDown. Bye." And that was it. I mean, he really didn't talk to him. At least we didn't see it. But with Enzo and Cass, same thing. Hey, congratulations, you're going to Raw tomorrow night. You know, I mean, it's right then and there. So you got a good point. Do you want to go to WWE's main roster and have a chance to be on WrestleMania and the big events, or stay in NXT where you're not necessarily a big fish in a little pond, but to Rob's point, you have a chance in the big spotlight?
But, I mean, I think in some respect you're almost missing the boat. The NXT TakeOver shows, mm-hmm. especially backing up to a WWE pay-per-view, mm-hmm. far surpass them.
Right, I agree.
So I don't think it's any slight. To me, WrestleMania is getting so watered down. Mm-hmm. You know, you would almost want to stay in NXT.
Right.
Plus, with the inclusion of Redragon,
right,
O'Reilly, right. and Fish, that is clearly, to me, your best tag team mm-hmm. is now on NXT. And I'm talking across the entire roster.
Wow. Better than the Revival?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So, y'all know how I am. I'm not really a WWE mark.
Right.
You know, and just because they're successful in the WWE doesn't mean they're going to be successful anywhere else.
No, I mean it's not a guarantee.
Right.
Because it's a different machine. Yeah.
O'Reilly and Fish have traveled the world
mm-hmm.
and fought in many promotions on some stages much bigger than the Revivals fought on.
Right.
And they've been successful. And they've fought legitimate tag teams, not a Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose being thrown together, you know, a Cesaro or Sheamus being thrown together because, we don't believe in their tag team division. And, I mean, no offense to the Revival, but if you look at it, they haven't really done anything yet other than being NXT tag champs.
Yeah, I mean, plus, unfortunately for them, they're snake bit because one comes back from injury, the next guy goes out,
Correct.
so they haven't really had an opportunity to shine, aside from some highlight moments, injuring the New Day and putting them out. Their great debut, beating the New Day. God, can't talk. So I mean, we have opportunities, but they definitely haven't really blossomed yet for the revival,
Right.
especially. And with NXT, they're calling themselves the Undisputed Era with Adam Cole and Redragon, O'Reilly and Fish. There's a great opportunity to work with some guys that are not just polished but accomplished, and they've really got something to bring to the table. So you have a good point. Staying in NXT at that vantage point can provide to you not just spotlight, to Rob's point, but experience, to your point, and experience with the right kind of talent. Because Adam Cole, once he moves up, I mean, I think he fires right off. I mean, I think he becomes champ pretty quick. Kind of like Bobby Roode. I'm expecting him to become a champion pretty quickly.
Yeah, one title or another.
Yeah. Now,
Because
here's a question.
he's on SmackDown, so he would have
Yeah.
the opportunity against AJ and
Shinsuke.
Jinder.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing. With the next pay-per-view, Hell in the Cell, I believe is what it is.
The one after No
It's
Mercy.
already gender versus who?
It's Shinsuke Nakamura gets a title shot, and is it Hell in the Cell?
Yeah. No.
No,
just
it's
at
No
the-
Mercy, isn't it?
No.
It's the next one. It's next Sunday. Whatever next
No,
Sunday.
that's the Raw pay-per-view.
Oh, is it just
That's
Raw?
Brock
Yeah,
versus
that's-
Oh, I
Braun.
thought it was combined. Oh, okay. My bad.
No, it's cool.
Let's everybody calm down. Let's just calm down.
I don't want to calm down. Too excited.
Oh, look, Stan. Maybe Piper took the bounty.
What?
You'd be scared if Piper took the bounty. He'd hurt you.
Especially since he's gone. That would be he's coming back from the
Hey, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, really. Come
But
on, kid.
like to your point and talking about it, does that say something about NXT that all these stars that, I mean, NXT started as a developmental, big word, territory where WWE took the ones that they wanted to hone and get ready for the main roster. That's where they put them until they were ready to come up and be repackaged or whatever. But now that you have more established stars coming to NXT, signing with WWE to go to NXT would be the proper way to say it. Is that not helping solidify that NXT is the place to be in WWE right now?
Well, if they have a choice, yes. Because if you listen to some of these guys talk, when they talk about coming to the WWE, they don't necessarily talk about the main roster. They talk about NXT. So if I'm Triple H and I give them a choice, or Vince and I give them a choice, well, do you want to go main roster? Because I think the Adam Cole and Bobby Fish and O'Reilly clearly could have gone main roster.
Oh, yeah.
And thrived. But if I give them a choice and they say, well, we want to go to NXT for whatever, reason it is, maybe it's a better travel schedule, maybe it's better talent in their eyes, whatever, and everybody's picking NXT, then NXT, to me, if I'm running the company, is bigger than what I as Vince McMahon am putting faith in.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, we haven't even brought in Dijak yet.
Right. And he just
he's
recently signed. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can only anticipate he'll go NXT. Leo Rush has been signed. He will probably go 205 Live just because that's where all the cruiserweights are.
Right.
But if they keep bringing in all this big name talent and they all go NXT, if they're given a choice, again, if I'm a former world champion on ROH And when you say, hey, we're going to sign you to a contract, okay, well, am I going to roster NXT? Well, what's your choice? I go NXT.
Right. And I think that's the smart move.
Right.
Even if you're accomplished like Adam Cole is, go to NXT. Get the exposure, get the spotlight, get a title run if you can, and then move up to the main roster and make the best of whatever you're given.
No, because it helps to WWE-fy you,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it gives you WWE light, basically. Like, you learn the company, you learn the machine, you get in the machine, but then you also have the travel schedule of Impact.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like in other places. Like, you're not traveling all over the country all the time. And imagine being one of those guys or girls in the performance center, and you're just waiting for your shot. Like you're doing everything you can to try to get better, and then here comes Adam Cole.
Right.
Like here comes Bobby Fish. Here comes Bobby Roode. Here comes
exactly.
Like, I mean. Yeah, you got to look at it like, all right, well, when am I going to get my shot? But to me, that'd be a great chance to learn. I mean, think about how many people around the world have gotten a chance to get in the ring with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now at NXT, you're sitting here, you haven't maybe not even debuted yet.
Right.
But you're in the ring with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Right.
And
that's a huge learning experience for young or old.
Like, you're getting in the ring with the likes of Bobby Roode and Bobby Fish. And, so I think.
Drew McIntyre. I mean, he's accomplished all the world over.
And now he's back.
Yeah. Yep.
And where'd they put him?
NXT.
They put him in NXT.
And right away, he's NXT champion. I mean, that is where you go not just to, if you're brand new, cut your teeth, but if you're experienced, that's where you go to prove that you belong in WWE. It's not the main roster that you go there to prove it. It's NXT. Because if you can't get over in NXT, you probably won't get over on the main roster.
Yeah, it's almost like, and of course we're watching Piper versus Briscoe.
Wow.
But it's almost like harking back to this old territorial day where you're in one territory and you learn.
Right.
And then you get called up to a bigger territory, and you learn even more, and you make a name for yourself.
Right.
It's almost what these the people in the performance center who haven't made TV yet. That's what they're getting opportunity to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they get to lock up with the great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting to lock up with another student.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm locking up with Bobby Roode, Bobby Fish. I'm locking up with.
Yeah, I mean, it's the equivalent of Flair. Flair used to wrestle anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And to learn from the champ, why wouldn't you take that opportunity? And plus, too, the other thing I was just thinking about, Triple H, pretty much handles NXT from outside appearances, right? But do you realize that the more people that he funnels through NXT, that by the time they go to the main roster, they're his guys.
Right.
They wrestle his way. They do things his way. And, in another year or two, he's going to have guys across all the shows that want to do it his way.
Right.
And he will quietly have changed the face of the main roster.
Well,
as long as they're allowed to perform.
Right. I mean, I think that's what SmackDown was starting to do when they came out with SmackDown Live.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to go the Triple H way, and they won the ratings, but then they quickly. It's like Vince didn't have his hand on it as much, and now Vince is like, well, wait a minute.
Right.
Right.
Right. It's like with, football teams or whatever, where the star player's out, the team does well, and then, oh, wait a minute, oh, now I want to be a part of it. So, oh, wait a minute, SmackDown's winning the ratings. Oh, let me go see if I can help them out.
Right.
And one day, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see it till he passes. But Vince stepping away.
You know, that's the thing. I mean, the reality is Vince is 72 years old. And, you know, we don't want to wish ill will upon anybody. That's not what we're talking about. But the reality is, I mean, unless he's just somebody that makes it to a millennium, it just seems unlikely, and he's ultimately going to pass away sooner than later. Triple H is in that position where he's going to take over, most likely, unless something weird happens, I guess. So I have to agree with Brian. I mean, with what he's doing with NXT and with how he's positioning people within the main roster, he's getting it ready so that it's going to be a more wrestling-oriented company rather than comic book character and the like.
He's getting the thing ready for a mutiny if he wanted one.
He really
You know,
is.
I mean, that's what, when you look at it, he's getting it ready
Yeah.
to be like, all right, gents, I'm taking over.
Yeah.
Well, no, the talent will work with you.
Wanna
Let's
bet?
ask him.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, like,
I mean, with exception of guys like maybe Dolph Ziggler and some of those, who I don't think would care if it was Vince or Triple H. But I don't think Triple H wants Dolph Ziggler.
Well, I don't think Triple H probably wants a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know
I get
what
that
I'm
feeling too.
And I'm not talking like the lower tier guys.
No, I
I'm
think there's some
talking
top
even
guys, yeah.
some of the top tier guys.
Right. Like I think he understands the box office appeal for Brock Lesnar, but I think if I'm Triple H, I want an active Brock Lesnar or no Brock Lesnar.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be every single Raw, every other, every two. I don't know.
But the other thing, I don't think Triple H would put the world title on him.
exactly.
Agreed.
And let him keep it for a year and
Exactly.
defend it 4 times.
I think you bring in Brock Lesnar. If you're Triple H, you bring in Brock Lesnar as a special,
Special attraction.
Just like you do The Undertaker.
The special
Yeah.
attraction.
You bring him in for the big shows, your big 3 or big 4, and then you let your title be defended and build storylines on who the people you have. I mean, look who on the roster you can't use because your world title, your universal title isn't around.
I still hate that name, the Universal title. It just sounds so Bush League.
Well, the problem was when they split the brand before, the titles got confused.
True.
Are you going against the WWE World Title, or are you going against the World Title?
World title. Yeah.
I mean, it should have been Raw World Title and SmackDown World Title.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
why can't they do that? Where is the confusion? I don't understand how that would be confusing to a roster.
Or to me, what they should be doing, and I've said it for years, is how many wrestling groups does the man own? How many companies does he own?
Right.
Can they not take one of the companies he owns and let's do Raw is WWE, SmackDown is one of the other companies,
Wait a minute. That's not a Vince McMahon
and
company.
just separate it.
Yeah.
Vince didn't create WCW, so he won't do it.
And again, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Because Vince is still under the impression, well, if I didn't create these people,
Then it doesn't matter.
then they don't matter. Right. Where Triple H is very much, I'm going to get the best talent I can to bring them in
Right.
to then move, keep the numbers climbing.
Because I don't think if Triple H is not involved, I don't think you get AJ Styles. I don't think you get Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't think those people would have come to WWE.
But the interesting part about that is, you're right. If you don't have Triple H at the helm, AJ Styles doesn't get picked up. But if Vince McMahon doesn't get sold on AJ's appeal to the crowd, AJ doesn't get the world title.
Yeah, but I don't think Vince is. All right, so
At least that's what
to
we're
me
told.
with AJ. To
Right.
me with AJ is a little bit different than the rest. To me with AJ was a worldwide phenomenon. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When he went to TNA, he cut his teeth, he made a name for himself, and then the help with Dixie Carter, they let him go. He kept the world title, traveled all over the world, and he started a buzz. So then Vince had to take a look at him.
Right.
And then he's in Japan, and he's now competing with quite possibly the best in the world in Japan. And he's winning,
Right.
And so then AJ's drive to be the best, to me, he's easy. And Vince can't just, well, I guess he could. He did it to Dusty. But I don't think AJ sticks around if he says, I'm going to put you in polka dots.
Right. Yeah, if he tries to make a gimmick out of him, he doesn't stay.
AJ walks away first chance he gets.
Well, I think also in this day and time, he couldn't do that. I think if Dusty would come to WWE today, Vince, with the social media and the knowledge that the fans have, like back,
he couldn't.
Then, there's a group of people that probably didn't know who Dusty Rhodes was.
Yeah, but if Vince has a hand, Vince will do whatever Vince feels like on a whim.
I mean, that's why you have Rick Martel, an AWA champ, prancing around like a model.
Correct. That's Vince.
Mm-hmm.
But to his credit, only Rick Martel gets that gimmick over.
Well, yeah, but that's beside the point.
Mm-hmm.
If Vince runs the company, if Vince tells you, I hired you to wear polka dots.
Right.
AJ wears polka dots until AJ says, I'm out.
Right. Works his contract or whatever, and he's done.
And he's done.
Yeah.
However, with the fact that most of these guys get funneled up from the bottom up,
mm-hmm.
Triple H is responsible for making these guys a WWE name.
Right.
And then you can't put Bobby Roode in polka dots coming from NXT to the main roster.
Right, because I think you see it end with the Shield. The Shield is one of the last groups that come from NXT as something different and then become the Shield.
And become main names.
Right. I mean, because if you look, like you said, Bobby Roode comes up. Shinsuke Nakamura comes up. Tyler Breeze came up.
Yeah.
Enzo and Cass comes up. They all come up as the characters they were in NXT because the powers that be see that, wait a minute, our fans aren't dumb.
Mm-hmm.
When the person shows up on Raw, they're not going to be like, oh, wait, oh, wow.
Right. Yeah, and I think Enzo and Cass are a perfect example of that. Whereas unlike when the Ascension comes up and they get punked out, the crowd lets it happen.
Yeah.
Whereas if y'all go back and remember Enzo and Cass, holy cow, the music hits, the crowd goes nuts, and as soon as he starts talking on the mic, the entire arena is chanting word for word, verse by verse, exactly what he said.
But if you see it, it's now going with that shows you the relevance of NXT.
Right.
Because when Finn Balor came up, what did every person in the arena do when his music popped up? They threw their arms up.
Yep.
Shinsuke Nakamura, they all freak out when that violin hits. They're all. Bobby Roode's the same way.
Is there a cooler
when they
theme?
hit Bobby Roode's music? How many are just standing there going?
Yeah, and everybody's singing the song.
No offense, but to me, the glorious gimmick may be as close as we're going to come to the polka dots.
And it's it's the hottest thing in WWE right now.
That's because Triple H didn't use it as polka dots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the whole, glorious, while it's cool and all that, it's a little gimmicky compared to the rest.
Yeah.
I still like beer money.
We'll finish up on this in here, and we'll do our predictions for No Mercy, and then we'll end around here. We'll go back to UCW for our final thoughts. Okay.
What time
is it? That time already?
Yeah, it's.
We got 45 minutes.
Well, I want to make sure we cover as much as possible.
Heaven forbid we have a nice discussion.
A great conversation. No. Perhaps the best ever.
Okay, so
heaven forbid we have live discussion
Nobody's
on our show.
Picking on nobody. Didn't we have a live discussion just like a week or two ago? And Stan was like, "Oh my goodness, this is the best thing ever. We should do this more often."
And we went 45 minutes over.
Yes.
Well, you know what? We are in charge of the time tonight, so hey. Good
well,
point.
I'm not saying.
Oh no! Apparently we're not.
Brian's like, whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Pause
Apparently we're not, Stan. So go ahead. What are we supposed to talk about next?
I think I want to finish up on this part first.
Oh no! We're done now.
Oh, you're done. Oh, okay. So I don't.
I'm gonna have to agree with Rob. The ambiance is gone.
We had this
the
balloon.
thrill is gone.
We had this balloon of energy and topic going, and you just stuck that needle right in it.
Yeah.
The mood killer.
So, any fans out there, be sure to tweet Stan and call him a a-hole if you like for.
Well, you wouldn't be the
ruining
first or the
perhaps
last.
The greatest commentary on NXT ever to be on Spreaker.
In the history
And you
of
ruined it.
internet
Hashtag
radio.
Stan let 'em talk.
Yep.
Let them
Free,
talk.
yeah, free
them
Rob and
talk.
Brian.
Hashtag free Rob and Brian. Okay.
Oh, speaking of hashtags,
Hashtags.
what about the hashtag Where's Hangman Page?
Yeah, what's going on with that? So if you're following Being the Elite that the Young Bucks put up every week, okay, episode 69. They're all celebrating and goofing off in the UK. Party Marty is entertaining them in the UK. And then they see it. The debut of Adam Cole, and they lose their minds. They freak out. Who the hell is that? That can't possibly be. And the lights go out. Lights come back on, and there's a note on the wall. The note on the wall says, "We're still watching you. We can bring people back from the dead. Signed, WWE Stooge." They all freak out. They start screaming and everything. All of a sudden, lights go out. A couple seconds later, lights come back on, and Paige is gone. Now, I mean, depending on what's going on, I'm not sure.
Wait, hold on. All right, so real quick, just to interrupt. So Piper just beats Briscoe with a roll of quarters. Now, as a referee,
That's a roll of pennies.
or a roll of pennies.
Piper's
as
a working
referee,
man. He's
how
got
do you not
kids.
see 50 pennies in the ring and be like, that wasn't here a second ago.
That was always the great thing, like the fireball or Mr. Fuji throwing the mist in people's face. Like, oh, wait a minute. This powder just happened to get here?
What happened? How did this happen? Somebody's wallet just empty?
Yeah, just.
This is
Did
odd.
I lose my penny? Roll of quarters? All right, so getting back to Paige.
That'd be the best. See the ref checking his pockets. What the hell?
Do I have a hole?
I
right,
think
getting back to
with,
Paige.
with Being the Elite, we don't know for certain what's caused it yet. I haven't seen the latest episode, although it was just uploaded on Friday.
Well, apparently part of this is stemming from Hangman Page, I guess, picking up a few new Twitter, liking
That's
a
right.
few new
Yeah.
Twitter
Yeah.
accounts or whatever it is.
So-
Vince McMahon, Triple H, the WWE
Universe.
Yeah.
Apparently, someone caught wind of this on Twitter. I want to say it was Matt Jackson from the Young Bucks. By the way, six-man champions for Ring of Honor, the Young Bucks and Hangman Page, better known as the Hung Bucks. Anyway, moving on. I love that name. So one of them sees that...
That's my porn name.
Okay. And we're not off the tracks. We're off the bridge and in the water. Anyway, Hangman Page follows WWE accounts. They follow him back. And when this happens, one of the Young Bucks sees it and commences to say, what the F? You know, what is this? So now, with Page nowhere to be found ever since the most recent Being the Elite, one can only speculate that it's, I guess, a possibility that maybe Hangman Page is next. No pun intended. I mean, is he next to the WWE signings? I mean, we were thoroughly impressed with him in Charlotte.
Yes.
We did.
Every time I see Paige, I'm
Yeah.
impressed.
I mean, watching his Ring of Honor work is great. And oh, by the way, I know I'm late to the party. I want to apologize for those that have been watching Ring of Honor on Fight TV. I'm late to the party, but I have been watching every week since discovering it. And yes, Hangman Page definitely is a highlight every time he's on the show. Whether it's just hitting that lariat that he does, which is ferocious, or the Hangman's noose that he finishes with, which is just devastating.
And not just Ring of Honor, New Japan as well.
Right.
So
But the question is, where is Hangman Page? Where is Adam Page? Have you seen Adam Page, Brian? Rob, have you?
I've not.
Do you guys know where
Maybe
he's
maybe
at?
he's back in What's Aaron's Creek?
Maybe
Maybe he's back in
he's
Aaron's
hanging out
hanging
in
out
Aaron's Creek.
down at the old
Fellow
gun shop.
Virginia boy.
Yeah. I mean, he could be anywhere. Where's Hangman Page?
If the WWE were to get Page, that to me that would be a big coup.
And a big hint that they're in on the Elite and the Bullet Club. I think that tells us that it's guaranteed.
How can you not be?
If I'm Vince McMahon, even at Vince's level with his thought process, how can you not see how big of a deal they are?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
again,
they're all over your shows.
I told you last year before WrestleMania when AJ and them, or actually before the Rumble,
when
AJ
the club was
up,
getting signed,
that there was a picture that Vince took himself in a Bullet Club shirt.
Right.
And then some people like Smeltzer, oh my God, Vince McMahon doesn't like the Bullet Club. You tell me anybody else's T-shirt he's ever been called in.
I can't think of anybody's, to be honest. I really can't. That and the obvious shout-outs they do. How cool was AJ Styles' mask at the most recent Osaka house show for WWE? It was basically the club logo from the club T-shirts in a mask. That was pretty awesome.
Now, if they're smart, they move the club to SmackDown.
I would.
And put them with AJ.
Because you're getting too heavy in tag teams up on Raw. And if you're calling the Authors of Pain up, okay, let's move the club down or over, and let's move Authors of Pain to Raw because it's a big man show anyway. And if it's going to be your big man show, focus on that. Let's move your wrestlers to SmackDown, your big men and women to the Raw roster, and you've got a divided, clear-cut difference of rosters. And I think that would work. So let's go ahead and do the rundown for No Mercy. Do some predictions here for that. All right, here's the card as it's been announced so far. Of course, if there's anything on the pre-show or whatever, we haven't seen that yet. Intercontinental Championship. The rumor is The Miz will be defending against, wait for it, Jason Jordan. And with the silence, we're all excited. Now, they could start the hints of an Angle heel turn, maybe a little bit of nepotism. He has a hand in Jason Jordan winning the Intercontinental title. Reason I say this past Monday night, The Miz does Miz TV and announces that he's going to be a father. Very excited, and the crowd popped. Huge. The crowd reacted for Miz like he was a babyface.
Crowd pops for Miz every week.
That's true. I mean, he does get a huge reaction every time he's on the mic.
Miz will tell you he's the best champion they have on Raw.
And he's definitely getting their reactions.
Right.
But what better way to maybe do it?
He's the only one that defends it.
Very true. In a consistent manner. And I never realized, but he doesn't get hurt. I mean, I don't think he's ever been out for an injury. Not that I want to jinx him, but
I think maybe a movie. He's been out for the movies, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But even the last Marine movie he made, or last movies he's made, he's taken the belt with him.
Yeah, he just took time off. He didn't get hurt on TV or anything.
You know, so I mean that shows you right there the caliber of wrestler. But you know,
is this the opportunity for WWE to do like a double turn and turn Jordan heel?
I don't think you got to worry about no turn.
I don't think anybody cares about Jordan.
Yeah.
Well, but that's my point. Aside from some standout matches with Roman and Cena.
But how do you... To me, I don't see how you can double turn that. There's no way. Because you have Dallas. You have Curtis Axel,
the Mr. That's a good point.
Maurice. You know, so there should be three people that can stop Angle from getting anywhere close to that ring to even start one.
Maybe I don't know, and I'm reaching, but maybe he sways the Miz Taraj.
If you're going to do it, the way to do it is have Jason Jordan just turn into the biggest horse's butt that you can possibly make him. He's got to be worse than the Miz. You know?
Wow. I guess, I mean, it can be done.
Yeah, you dress them up a certain way, and you have them go out there and I'm the greatest ever, and everybody knows that Angle put him in the match, and Angle,
right?
My dad won't let this happen to me, and you can't do this, and you just play the whole "my dad" card. I mean, it's just,
and they'll turn on him. There'd be no need though for Angle to get involved in the match.
I mean, they're doing it now because the Angle they brought him in sucked.
Are you saying it wasn't well written?
I mean, it was like they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, let's move Jason Jordan to Raw. Let's figure out a way to do it."
Right.
Instead of doing they could have done an idolized thing, where Jason Jordan idolized Kurt Angle and wanted to be there and wanted to be part of the show and wants to impress Kurt Angle and da-da-da-da.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, but why? To me, though, why wouldn't you have picked Gable? Because doesn't Gable have a better collegiate career than Jordan did?
Much better, yes. Yeah. Gable's...
I mean, that would almost be the natural...
Of the two, I think Gable is the heir apparent.
Yeah.
He's going to be the next company man. The face of the company. So, okay, predictions. Rob, Miz, or Jordan?
I say Miz.
Brian?
I say Miz, too. But, just like Rob, something says that it's not going to work out that way.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be Jordan. I'm going to go with Jordan just to go with my gut. Cruiserweight Championship match. Neville defending against Enzo Amore?
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Enzo is the number one contender. Wins a 5-way match on 205 Live to become the number one contender. You mean to tell me TJ Perkins, Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, Brian Kendrick, Drew Gulak, I mean, come on. All these guys, and we can't get them? I mean, even Grand Metalik.
What happened to the rematch clause? I mean, they use it in the women's division all the time. I mean, I get a rematch for my rematch for the rematch that I had the rematch for our match.
I mean, Brian Kendrick just needs one more chance.
I mean...
This is his last chance.
And for what, 2 years we had Brian Kendrick versus...
Right, for TJ Perkins.
But it seemed like he had Austin Aries. He got a couple matches, and then he didn't beat the unbeatable.
Maybe that'll happen to Enzo. He'll get a couple matches, and out the door he goes.
You gotta give it to Enzo.
I think
He's
this,
still over.
like the reports I've read, this is Enzo's last chance with the company. People are getting tired because apparently he's Enzo all the time,
right?
And everybody else has an off switch, and they said that
he doesn't.
Enzo being Enzo is fun when he's in the ring, but Enzo being Enzo is not fun on a 14-hour flight.
Right. Apparently he's not making friends. I'm going to say Neville. I can't see it going a different way.
Neville.
I honestly don't see Amore winning.
No.
If Austin Aries didn't do it, they're not going to give it to Enzo Amore.
Well, no. Wait. This is the WWE.
I was going to say.
True. So I'm going with Enzo Amore.
Enzo will get it, and he'll hold it for like 10 years.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob. You've ruined the cruiserweight.
I'm going to Enzo Amore because then he's going to bring it and brag to Cass like, look, I got a title. You don't.
Mm-hmm. All right.
He's going to put a poop emoji on it.
Stop it. All right, next up, Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Now, Wyatt's issue is he does not think that Balor can beat him without being the Demon. So we already know we're not going to see the Demon on No Mercy. However, we got Balor and Wyatt. I mean, it's a great matchup. It was very good at SummerSlam. I think Balor continues to win. I don't see him losing to Wyatt.
I mean, I don't see where you would change Bray's horrible pay-per-view record.
Right.
So I'll go with Balor.
Rob, what do you think?
Well, for the potential that I can see in my head
Mm-hmm.
for a future storyline, I would say Bray.
Okay.
Because if Bray wins and Braun wins, then you could have Bray versus Braun, like Bray saying, I brought you here, I put you here.
Rob Stradamus at
work
right now.
Then you could have Bray versus Braun. If Braun loses,
Mm-hmm.
then you could have Finn win and Finn go against Brock saying, that's my belt. I want my belt back.
God, that's why isn't he booking? That's what I want to know because I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, but again, he's living in
A fantasy world.
fantasy world. Yeah,
It's pipe
not
dream.
the WWE.
Yeah,
Because they wouldn't think about that. You may not ever see Bray with that world title again,
that
just
sucks.
because they
God,
have that
sucks.
crazy hard on.
I mean, because they could do the whole Bray, Bray beats Finn, goes off, beats Braun down the road.
Right.
Then Finn goes against Bray for the Universal title. Like, listen, I have a double score to settle. I want my belt back, and I want to kick your ass.
And now I'm angry because Rob's not writing WWE. Just saying. All right, Rob. Rubber meets the road. Who do you pick?
Bray.
Bray. All right, then. Raw Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss defends against Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, and Emma. Man. I mean, your first thought would be Nia Jax, right? I mean, Sasha Banks, Emma. So,
Who are you going with in the Bray match? You never said.
Oh, I'm going Balor. I have to agree with Brian. I think they just don't have enough faith, for whatever reason, in Bray Wyatt to put him over. I think that Balor has more to lose if he loses the match, in all seriousness. Women's title, would it be kind of cool to see Emma win just to be a surprise? Yes. But in the long run, I think they're still trying to build Nia Jax. Most likely, Alexa Bliss is going to win.
Yeah, but to me though, with Emma has the opportunity to sneak in and get the win.
Right.
You don't want to give up Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax on whatever the next pay-per-view is.
Right.
That's something you want to build towards WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But if you leave it on Alexa Bliss, or you put it on Nia Jax, then the rematch clause comes in or whatever. And then to Rob's point, you're all through the summer, you're going to get rematch after rematch. They flip the titles back and forth. But if you put it on Emma, Nia Jax can 2 months down the road squash her.
Yeah.
Get the world title. Set up for start the road to WrestleMania. And Alexa Bliss, versus Nia Jax.
So, if I'm reading what you're putting down correctly here, you're saying Emma.
I'm saying Emma.
Rob?
I was going to go I'm kind of going along the same lines he is. I mean, I could see them putting it on Emma and like Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss get in there and they get to fight and da-da-da-da. And before they realize it, Emma pins Sasha Banks and it's done. They could turn around and have Nia Jax versus Emma on Monday and Nia Jax just kicks her ass. But
Right. But even still.
But I think I could see them do Nia versus Alexa. You cost me this belt.
Right.
You're the reason I don't have it. And Emma just sits there, and goes fights whoever.
Yeah.
For a few days, for a little bit. And then, bam, like he said.
I got to say, I really agree with you guys. I think that Emma is probably a good choice here.
Well,
it may be a dark horse, but who knows?
Yeah, but plus, too, if you look at the women's division on Raw, the person that they've dumped the most amount of time into is Emma. And it goes all the way back to the little vignettes that didn't turn out so well, but they invested the money in them. Now she's the one talking smack all over the place and talking trash about I started this, whatever. So they haven't done that to nobody else.
I mean, I think that when you look at the women's division on Raw versus SmackDown, there's a huge difference between the two. I think a lot of it has to do with just pure wrestling versus more entertainment, which is what Raw seems to try to do. And I agree with Nia Jax versus Alexa. You put that on a bigger stage. You put that on something that could build Nia even more, so that when she wins that title, it's a bigger moment. It sells more tickets, sells more merch, and I think Emma honestly is the right way to go. I didn't really know if I agreed with that honestly before you guys started talking about it, because the obvious gut reaction is it's either Alexa Bliss or Sasha Banks, but honestly, the core part, the surprise, the person that probably deserves it in this situation is Emma, who has been through the ringer, who has worked her way up from NXT before the women's revolution really started. And I think, I agree. I think she's deserving of a shot and a chance to win. So I would say Emma.
I mean, I could see an outside chance of them giving it to Sasha, and then Sasha versus Bayley when Bayley comes back.
I wonder how healthy Bayley is. What's her return time frame?
But that could be down the road. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I think putting on Emma would be the best.
So next matchup would be the Tag Team Championship.
The best.
The Raw Tag Team Championship. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins defending against Sheamus and Cesaro.
Don't care.
Matchup itself could be good, but I
mean, the matchup itself is fine. The fact that it's for the tag team titles is dumb as hell.
Is it because of the fact that it's with Sheamus and Cesaro, or with all four?
Well, you've got 4 main event guys fighting for the tag team title that you have established tag teams that you've spent years establishing that aren't fighting for the tag team titles.
Right. That you even brought back.
Right.
I mean, you have the Hardys. It could be the Hardys versus the Club. It could be the Hardys versus whoever. But you have, again, just like you've done with the Rock and Sock Connection and the Mega Powers and
yes, no.
Yeah, Team Hell No. Yeah. So, all right, we'll just go ahead and put the prediction out there. I'm going to say Rollins and Ambrose retain.
I'm going with Rob. Who cares?
Okay. So Rob and Brian abstain. They're not picking.
Yeah. I mean, again, to me, it's foolish.
Right.
To me, they threw Rollins and Ambrose together to get Ambrose over. Ambrose isn't over. He ain't been over in a long time.
I mean, I agree with you to the point that he's been phoning it in, but I don't think he needs any help getting over. I think he's over. I just don't. I don't think he's motivated.
He's not. He's not Roman Reigns yet. But if you go back and look, even in his last few title reigns, he hadn't had anything. When he was world champ, he got one of the lowest ratings ever. He's not over. There's no part of Dean Ambrose that's over.
What Dean gets over is when he's the lunatic.
Right.
When he's doing the crazy, unpredictable things. When he's the chaser.
Foley.
When he's the chaser. When he's not the chaser,
And then people aren't tuning in as much.
Right. I mean, you moved him to Raw. You took the Intercontinental title on him. You put him on Raw, and then what'd you do? You promptly brought The Miz over, so we had The Miz versus Dean Ambrose for another 6 months. That we've already seen over and over again.
And over again.
And so once the title went off of him and went on to Miz, who gives two rats' butts about what Dean Ambrose is doing? Because there's no foreseeable feud that they can do. That's my thing. Like, I like Dean Ambrose. I just don't see what's a feud? Him and Seth Rollins?
Which I suppose that's the next possible direction for that. Maybe at Mania?
Is Cesaro or Sheamus going to beat him and then they're going to turn on each other?
Maybe Ambrose turns bad, I guess. I mean, I suppose it could go either direction. So let's look at the next matchup. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Now, verbally, this has been exciting to watch.
Verbally, John Cena's been kicking his butt for months.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's exciting to watch. To me, verbally, it's been very one-sided.
Well, I've enjoyed it. We'll put it that way.
You know what's going to happen right before this match? You know what's going to happen right before this match?
A Divas match? Oh,
Nope.
wait, no, that's a different pay-per-view.
They're going to come out and say, if you'd like to visit our merch stands, we have great merch available. No Mercy T-shirts.
Yeah, but all right. So real quick, while we got time. So as a Reigns fan, okay, you tell me what part of this little feud so far has been enjoyable.
I mean, I like the verbal back and forth. Honestly, I do get a kick out of watching Cena make Reigns look stupid because Reigns does have a deer
Right.
headlights.
So, but there's no back and forth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Reigns tries the same stupid argument that The Miz has done,
Right.
that AJ Styles was forced to do, that any number of people are going against Cena has been forced to do. It's the same stupid, tired argument.
Right.
The only entertaining part is when Cena just rips him a new one.
Right.
And under the color of, kayfabe.
Yeah, work shoot.
And all they can come back with is, your mama.
Yeah.
Basically. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, literally, how many times has the WWE ever in the past been like, oh, yeah, that was a work. Yeah, we worked y'all all. Yeah, we told them to say that.
They did the
about
same.
John Cena.
They did the same thing with Jim Ross when Jim Ross went off on air. When
Oh,
Jim
yeah,
Cornette went off on air.
Yeah.
When CM Punk did his pipe bomb, they all came back afterwards going, oh, yeah, that was planned.
Yeah,
Right,
that was
right.
planned. We wrote that.
It's all part of our plan.
That was
Rest
the best
assured.
piece of wrestling we've written in
You
10
could
years.
look at times at Roman Reigns' face, and you're like, I think the writers said, go out there and do what you do.
Yeah.
And Roman Reigns realized, I don't do what he does.
right. Do what I wait.
I mean, the one time he even looked like he was going to cry.
Well, when they did the contract signing, when Cena just destroyed him, I mean, he didn't know what to do. He was standing there in the moment. That's the moment that you can turn everything around and be a savior kind of situation.
Right.
And he couldn't do it. It was alarming in a lot of ways because you're watching like the self-destruction, the implosion of somebody that's supposed to be the face of the company.
Yeah,
and
well,
that's honestly to me why it's exciting or entertaining. Maybe a better word is entertaining because I want to see what happens in the matchup. I do want to see how it goes. I'm not sure who's going to come away the winner on that. I don't
I can
have
tell
a
you
gut feeling.
who's going to win.
You think it's going to be Reigns?
Yes. Because, again, in their warped sense,
Right.
Reigns is a savior.
And I'm a Reigns fan, but for me, I don't see it that way. I think that Cena goes over.
No, why? It's just like The Undertaker.
I mean, it didn't make sense for Cena to go over when he beat Rusev. It didn't make sense. It never makes sense, but at the same time, it still happens.
Who, you talking about Cena?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that makes sense anytime Cena goes over. Because there's nobody bigger than Cena's the modern-day Ric Flair.
Wow.
When Cena
He's the
loses,
modern-day Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, when Cena loses, it should mean something.
Right. I agree with you there. I mean, it's got to have a meaning.
Right.
So, Brian, you say Reigns. Rob?
Yeah, unfortunately, I say Reigns.
I see the merch table in the concession stands.
The popcorn vendor.
Yeah, those
Wow.
people are going to win.
The merch table just won this matchup. Damn.
I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's for those that are not into Roman Reigns. They just don't have a dog in the fight. They're like, yeah, great, Cena made him look dumb, but I still don't want to see the matchup.
I mean,
and that's what I've read on Twitter, Facebook, and all that.
I mean, when they did the points Brian just said, and not to reiterate everything he just said, but when they put the two of them in the ring and they're like,
Yeah.
all right, let's do this. Y'all are going to do this scripted promo.
Right.
And the only things that could come up is you're part-time.
Yeah,
and you're this.
old. That's like a tired argument, in my
But
opinion.
when he said, well, if you were doing your job, I wouldn't have to keep doing this, and
Right.
I do better part-time than you do full-time, he just spoke to the words that half the WWE nation is thinking.
Right. So, Rob says the merch table. Brian says, unfortunately, Reigns.
Yeah. Again, I don't think they can get out of the ditch that they've dug themselves with Roman Reigns, thinking he's the next Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Ric Flair, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
him.
We need to film a movie.
To be the contrarian, I want to say Cena, but at the same time, after
Can
watching,
we do like Thunder in Paradise or something like that? That's like they can just put all Roman in
Put
it.
him on
oh my God, no more
a
Thunder in
new
Paradise,
Thunder in
please.
Paradise.
You know, like give,
Oh God, no. But having seen, and this is leading to the main event, Braun Strowman just thumped John Cena. From pillar
Braun
to
Strowman
post.
just thumped Roman Reigns.
I mean, I don't know. I could see it storyline wise where they're like Cena's going into the match hurt, gets worse injured or whatever, hurt worse by Roman Reigns, and maybe that's how.
yeah, but
I mean, that shows you right there.
yeah.
The Raw before, like the week leading up to it, you have John Cena go against Braun Strowman.
Which to me is the bigger matchup between the two.
Roman Reigns versus Jason Jordan.
Which
Were the Mulkeys busy?
For Jordan's to step up. Got to get a Mulkeys reference in every show. I think it's part of our deal. We have a contract with him or something. I don't know. But I think for Jordan, that was a bigger deal than it was for Reigns. Reigns right now is clearly on the downward trend. I mean, he's winning, but it's not the same.
Reigns is not really winning. Tell me the last big match Reigns won.
Well, that's just it. I mean, he's escaping. Like when he fights Braun Strowman, it's like he's escaping with the victory after getting thumped for 15, 20 minutes. But when it comes to big matchups aside from what Undertaker, I guess.
Yeah, so that's
I would have to
back
agree
to
with you there.
WrestleMania.
Yeah. So if you go back to Mania, I would say Taker, and that's the biggest match he's won since from
That's
that
a
point
good
on.
6 months ago.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I think he's on a downward trend. So while he may be quote unquote winning matches or coming away with the victory, it's not necessarily that he's.
He is a future Global Force champion.
I don't even know if you could get him over in Global Force.
I don't know if they get him over, but they'd sure as hell try. They'd throw whatever money they could find, gold bars, gold cards, whatever they could find.
Yeah, well,
Roman,
but
come to us.
But Global Force would tear him apart faster than the WWE audience.
What was his name in NXT? Leaki? What's Leaki doing in the Impact Zone? Oh, my God.
Because if you look at a Global Force audience,
Yeah.
there aren't all these kids there.
Oh, no, there's kids, but there's like...
But not
Yeah,
if you
Take
look
him to the temple.
He would get killed in Lucha.
Yeah.
And I'm a Reigns fan, and I know he'd
Dario
get
would
murdered.
make a point out of him.
I mean, he'd go to New
We're
Japan.
having the
he'd
first
get murdered,
bungee cord match in the temple.
Oh, my God, no.
Hey, listen, I don't even – if he left the WWE, I don't even think he gets a look from ROH or New Japan.
He shares time with Ryback on the circuit.
Yes.
No, I think he could go to New Japan. I don't know how long
No.
he'd last.
They don't bring him to New Japan. They don't even entertain it.
I think they would bring him in, but I don't think he'd last long. He's an attraction.
No, he's not an attraction. He's an
They'd bring him in
attraction
for the
here
ring
in
crew.
America.
Oh, ring crew.
He's an attraction here in America. He does not have the skill set at all.
Oh, I'm not
to
saying he could hang
compete.
with him. I'm saying that I think they'd bring him in.
No, that's not what New Japan's about. New Japan is about wrestling, pure and simple.
Okay.
They are not into.
I guess it's agree to disagree. I think they'd bring him in. I'm not saying he's better.
Doesn't
I'm
happen.
saying they'd bring him in.
What's
Doesn't
the rest of the
happen.
card look like?
Right. So with the main event, we got Brock Lesnar defending the Universal title against Braun Strowman. Now, a lot of people would say that this appears to be just a clear build-up for Brock to beat another challenger and head to Mania. But with the momentum that Braun Strowman has built all the way up to this point, it now seems really to be the time, Braun to win the championship. I mean, I can't see it going a different way. I honestly don't see Brock Lesnar leaving with the title. But at Great Balls of Fire, I didn't think that was going to happen either. So, I mean, how do you predict this? At SummerSlam, I didn't think Brock was losing or was keeping the belt. So here we are, another matchup that shouldn't be Brock Lesnar's to win. I'm going to pick Braun Strowman, but my fear is that they're going to continue to keep it on Brock.
The fan in me will pick Braun Strowman. The realist that realizes what the WWE machine's going to do
Right.
it's going to be Brock. But I think with the way Braun has fought Brock in the other matches, I think Braun can win. And I think WWE would actually drop the title to Braun.
I agree. I mean, it's the way they built it. What do you think, Brian?
The machine continues.
Wow. Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar will hold the title till WrestleMania, where he will unfortunately drop it to Roman Reigns.
It's kind of, cliche or whatever.
And then the Monday after Raw will be the Monday after WrestleMania will be known as Foreclosure Friday.
Yes. And JBL will tell you that just because we're talking about Roman Reigns means he's over.
Right. Well, I mean, JBL, though.
At least he's not talking.
Not much. I don't know. I'm not listening to him, and I don't follow him, so I don't really know what he says. But apparently, if you speak positively about people aside from him, he'll block you on Twitter. Go figure.
Oh, well, I would never
follow
JBL anyway.
Like I said, I mean, I think he's irrelevant. I don't understand how he gets the attention he gets. Honestly, and maybe this isn't a popular opinion, I didn't think he was that good of a SmackDown champion, and I didn't think he had that good of a role.
Well, I'm pretty sure Pink Floyd has the song Welcome to the Machine.
Wow. Pink Floyd reference. I dig the Pink Floyd reference. I mean, maybe not in relation to JBL.
Well, it's all of them. Roman Reigns and John Cena and, some of these other ones.
I mean, you can't argue with that because the Machine's got a pretty strong hold on a lot of what we see nowadays.
Yeah, but they have nothing. They have no competition. That's why they have a strong hold.
Well, and then in 2018, if New Japan tours the way they say they will,
we'll put my theory to the test.
Yeah, that's true. That should be a good measuring point. So that's No Mercy. That's next Sunday. Before we, wrap this up and go home with this, we got to go back to September 23rd.
So is this the Hulk Hogan Andre moment?
Is
this the Slam moment?
I mean,
well, I will say before that, because I want to give you all one more commercial break before you have to announce it. But if you didn't watch Lucha,
here we go.
The 5-0 street fight that was
Right.
Joey Ryan versus Castro.
It was who?
Joey Ryan versus Castro.
Okay.
Fidel Castro?
And a 5-0 street fight basically means they had a police car on ringside with all the riot shields and batons and donuts and coffee and
cheese.
It was a hell of a match.
Right.
And Castro took the medallion.
What? Wow. So Joey Ryan didn't get it.
Joey Ryan did not get it after being basically slammed into a stack of riot shields that broke.
Ow.
That he set up.
Oh, because he was going to put him
He was going to put Castro through
flip
it.
the script. Dang,
So
that ain't good.
But with that aside, I think it's time for your Hulk Hogan Andre moment.
How do you not put Joey Ryan
And
in
I
that situation?
will be quiet.
It's a shame, though, speaking about Joey Ryan, that his gimmick is going to keep him
seemingly,
out
yeah.
of the WWE.
Well, at one moment, at one point, Castro dumped. Joey Ryan picked up the coffee, the coffee thing.
Yeah. I heard about this.
And Castro takes it from him and dumps it down his shorts. And he's just like,
oh my God.
And then you can hear Vampiro going, I smell hair burning.
Oh, gross.
It was awesome.
That's nasty. Well, Robert, thank you as always for our Lucha moment.
This Lucha moment is brought to you by El Rey Network.
And Dunkin' Donuts, apparently.
And Nair.
Oh.
And Juan Valdez coffee.
And Blow Pops.
Hola, Juan Valdez. So I did just keep on Joey Ryan for a second. I saw a video.
I heard you want to be on Joey Ryan.
Oh.
Damn it. What I'm saying is I saw a video where Joey Ryan and X-Pac had a standoff in the ring. Joey Ryan saying, touch it. And X-Pac saying, suck it. And then doing a back and forth with the crowd. It was pretty tremendous. I know it's random, but what the hell. All right. Here we are. It's time for the magic moment.
All seriousness.
All seriousness.
I mean, this is the slam moment.
This is.
You got to take it home.
The mega moment. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So, we've already told you September 23rd is a big night for Ultimate Championship Wrestling. UCW presents Defiance, television taping starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at the Michael and Son Sportsplex in Sterling, Virginia.
Oh, my God, he's bleeding.
No, Harley, no. But the biggest part of this...
No, not the
You don't think so?
biggest part.
The biggest part for us, maybe?
No, we're not bigger than the show.
No, you're right. No, that's a good point. He's
rein it
absolutely
back
correct.
in.
So let's bring this down a notch. I'm sorry. My apologies. No, but seriously, we are super excited because we get an opportunity to live out a dream moment. This is one of those bucket list items that you get a chance only once in a lifetime, maybe, to do it. And as a wrestling fan, it doesn't get any cooler than this. For the television tapings, myself, Brian, and Rob have been signed on to Ultimate Championship Wrestling.
Well, let's just discuss next week.
Debuting September 23rd. Corner to Corner will be the official broadcast team for Ultimate Championship Wrestling. That's right. Play-by-play produced by myself, Brian Taylor, Rob Hefner, and we get the debut on September 23rd. Now, this is a pretty awesome moment for me individually as a wrestling fan. I've always wanted to do this. Brian, we've talked about it. Rob, we've talked about it. I mean, this is a huge opportunity, not just for Ultimate Championship Wrestling as they go forward into TV tapings, but for us as, dare I say it, broadcast journalists? Is that what we'd be called? Commentators at the very least? I mean, how cool is that?
That's pretty cool, you little mark.
Hey, you know what? You get only but so many moments in wrestling to enjoy it, right? So when we get there, clearly it's going to be, business. And I'm excited about it. I'm pumped. And, I mean, how many chances are we going to get to say it's our first one, right? This is a pretty cool opportunity. Rob, what do you think?
I think it's a great thing. I think it's a once in a lifetime moment. I think it speaks volumes for UCW, and I think that they're doing a television taping in Sterling, in the Sportsplex.
Right.
I also think it speaks volumes for Corner to Corner because they have asked us, they've invited us to come and be the commentators and do the play-by-play, and then also have a chance to broadcast Corner to Corner live during the event.
Right.
That's been discussed. So I think, as they grow, we'll grow, and, hopefully we can continue to offer them something and, as they help us reach a different audience as well.
Right.
And we'll see. On September 23rd, we'll bring the action live to people, possibly on our podcast, but definitely on, on TV.
Right.
At the television taping, it will be Brian and Stan bringing it live to the people.
That's right. You do bring up an unfortunate part of that you'll be not with us on the 23rd. However, with the continued TV tapings that they have planned, you will be with us at those events.
Yes.
So I mean, it's not just an opportunity for Brian and I. I mean, it's an opportunity for all of us.
Well, it depends. If you screw it up, Stan, then it's not going to be a different chance for anybody after that. No, I'm kidding.
No pressure, though. Thanks, Rob.
I wanted to add all the pressure.
I don't have any pressure on my shoulders at all, by the way. Thanks for that.
No, I think it's going to be fun, and it's going to be great. And I'm sorry I can't be there. I really was hoping to be there, and there looked like a moment that I was going to be able to be there. But unfortunately, not unfortunately, but unfortunately I won't be there. But fortunately for me, I get to see a city that I haven't seen in a while for many years, almost 20 years.
Dang, has it been that long?
I will be going to the city of Chicago.
Wow.
And
cool.
so I will be in Chicago, home of 1 Hour Tees and Pro Wrestling Tees.com, and and having conversations with them. Hopefully I'll be able to hook up on some very sought after merch.
Right?
But I will be, you never know. Who knows? Maybe I'll be listening live.
I tell you what.
UCW.
It's going to be exciting. We're going to have all of our equipment there. We are going to do the pre-show and post-show just like we did last time. We'll do interviews on site and on location with we've already talked to Ethan Cross. We've talked to him about sitting down before the event. Juggernaut as well. Hoping to catch up to Bill Collier, maybe get his thoughts before the main event. Noise Pollution, of course, will be there to kind of run down the card one more time for you. Jake Hollister taking on Tremor. Joe King taking on Ron Holiday. Cheap Thrills versus House of Hades. The winner of that matchup will face Noise Pollution for the UCW Tag Team Championship. Then next up is the three-way dance, Mr. Grimm versus Sickened versus MV Young. Three-way match should be pretty good. Television Championship being defended, Ethan Cross defending against Hiro Morimoto. And then, of course, the UCW World Heavyweight Championship, Bill Collier versus Juggernaut. In a matchup, a collision of the Titans, battle of the Titans, if you will. Two big men. This should be an exciting matchup. Tickets are still available at eventbrite.com. Look up keyword UCW Defiance. Tickets range anywhere from $7 to $20. You got an exciting opportunity there to join in history being made as the television tapings go forward. But at the same time, if you hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or if you go through our chat room, send us a message and your thoughts on what you're looking forward to for UCW Defiance or just your thoughts on UCW overall. And you can win an opportunity for tickets for two to go to UCW Defiance.
Who doesn't want tickets? Free tickets.
Free. That's the magic word right there. I mean, that part plus an opportunity to meet us, which I think is pretty cool.
Yes.
For us to meet, to meet live and in person some of our listeners, which would be cool. I'm looking forward to that. And our debut as the official commentary team for Ultimate Championship Wrestling. I'm pumped. This is going to be an exciting time. I'm definitely nervous. Brian, what do you think?
You're killing me. I'm tired.
You're tired?
I've been working all day. I think it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. We'll try and entertain the fans. We'll try and call the action the way it is in the ring.
Right.
We'll enjoy it. They'll enjoy us. It's UCW. What more could you ask for?
I don't know, man. When it comes down to it, that's all we can really say. I mean, UCW, Defiance, Michael & Sons Sportsplex, Virginia, 7 p.m. bell time. And tickets are available, again, at eventbrite.com. Keyword UCW Defiance.
But why go to Eventbrite when all you have to do is contact us? We have free tickets.
That's right. We've got the hookup.
We could hook you up and help you out.
We certainly can.
Skydive Orange spoke for itself.
It did.
That if Defiance is going to be better than that, it is going to be amazing.
It's definitely worth your time. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter. You can catch us up on Twitter at C2C Radio Show, Corner to Corner Show on Facebook, Corner to Corner on Instagram. You can also hit us up through the Corner to Corner page or the Corner to Corner Wrestling group on Facebook. We are available waiting for your feedback and your input to see if we can get you free tickets for UCW Defiance. Rob, where can they catch up with you on social media, sir?
My MySpace page is
his Bookface page.
At Rob Hefner, C2C on Twitter, RDAGWP on Instagram, or look for the big fat bald guy in real life. That could be me.
Brian can be found at STRCP21 on the Twitter machine. He's at Brian Taylor on Facebook. He always gives me that smirk like I knew it.
I just like the fact that you didn't even ask him tonight. You're just like, the hell with it.
Know,
He hadn't asked me in a while.
I think eventually he knew I would just get worn out and be like, yeah, okay. This is Brian's Twitter handle. This is Brian's Facebook. He'll be there at UCW.
But this is your chance to also to get at him. And you never do it.
You're right.
It's Brian's Twitter handle. Brian likes.
Listen. I generate 1/3 of the traffic for the site, and if you give some bogus site, it's not going to. That's
we're going to kill 33%
traffic. That's not going to go there. He knows that. I know that.
Well, and I can be found at Stan from Krypton on Twitter, Stan Grubb on the Facebook, and that's really all we got. So, folks, get to Sterling, Virginia this coming Saturday, September 23rd, 7 p.m. at the Michael & Son Sportsplex for UCW Defiance. Be there for the TV tapings. Be there for Corner to Corner's debut as the broadcast team. And, hell, just be there for enjoying some wrestling action. So we will see you next week with our official show for UCW. And, of course, we'll be live on scene at the 23rd. So thanks very much for your time. Have a great rest of your night, and we will see you next week for UCW Defiance.